we're privileged to have my friend and the senator from the state of Delaware, Chris Coons. Let's say a round of applause for Chris Coons as he comes at this time.
Thank you, Ken. Good morning, everybody. What a remarkable, great day for Delaware. I think you could give another round of applause to Governor Markell, to Secretary O'Mara, to Director Alan Levin, to everybody who made possible today's remarkably brighter day because of the public announcement of something they have worked so long and so hard on, bringing Bloom Energy, the most cutting-edge alternative clean energy manufacturing opportunity Delaware has seen in a generation, to fruition. So please give them another round of applause if you would. Alan and the mayor and the governor all made somewhat joking reference to being in politics and being in business, but the one person who somewhat humbly overlooked his own entrepreneurial experience is our governor. Jack and I worked together in 1988 on a U.S. Senate campaign that was wildly unsuccessful, but where Matt Dehn and Jack Markell and I got to know each other fairly well. And Jack then subsequently launched himself into a career in what at that point seemed an obscure idea, that businesses were going to run around the country and buy ham radio licenses for certain spectrum. When he called me to explain this, I said, that's really great. Hung up the phone and thought, wow, is he going to be eating a whole lot of Spam and baked beans doing that job? He was driving around the most rural parts of this country buying up ham radio licenses, ham radio operators who had purchased small pieces of spectrum for something called a cell phone. And on the campaign, we'd had a phone. It was a bag phone. I don't know if you remember these things. From 1988, it was expensive. It was, I think, $4 a minute, and it was huge. And at every point, one of the junior staffers would sneak into the back of the car surreptitiously and pull the phone out of the bag and call someone and go, I'm on a phone in a car. Can you believe it? And the idea that today cell phones would not only be ubiquitous in the United States and much of the developed world, but I just returned from a trip to Nigeria, Benin, and Ghana. And in the most rural parts of the most undeveloped nations on earth, there are cell phones being used by farmers, being used by small-town entrepreneurs to connect to the modern world marketplace. And Jack Markell was someone who had the vision to see the potential of that emerging technology and to be part of the founding group of a company now called Nextel, or that was called Nextel. He came up with the name for it. And to launch himself into a very successful career, working incredibly hard in the early stages of the telecom revolution. So it is not at all a surprise to me that he was able to attract an incredibly talented entrepreneur in Alan Levin, who's been a very successful director of DITO, that he was able to assemble the team you just heard introduced, folks who understand what it takes to bring together the energy that makes possible the kind of positive announcement that we heard yesterday. I myself spent 8 years with W.L. Gordon Associates, one of Delaware's, and I think America's most innovative materials-based science companies, working hard from the inside on trying to grow our company and, frankly, deal with government. And one of the things I try and do for you each and every day that I'm in Washington and every day that I'm able to be back here in Delaware is to hear about the concerns and the issues of Delaware entrepreneurs and to help be one of your lead blockers who knocks down barriers, who helps access resources, and who helps strengthen and promote our exports, our competitiveness, our vibrancy as an economy. There are some things we can and should be doing in Washington, and as the mayor referenced, in many ways the most obvious of them is to pay down that $500,000 worth of individually held debt in our country. And as a member of the Budget Committee, I am doing my level best to bring a common sense, bipartisan solution to what is the current intransigence on dealing with our massive deficit and debt. But as a member of the Energy Committee, I am also someone who is excited about the prospects for creativity and innovation all over this country. There are companies I visited here, El Creton and A&P Technologies occur to me just off the top of my head as two that have benefited from small business innovation and research grants and that are now making real progress into growing their businesses here in Delaware and around the world. It seems to me that there are things we can and should be doing in tax policy, in trade policy, in education as well as an intellectual property policy that will help provide some lift beneath the wings of those in the private sector who are going to drive our slow and steady recovery. And so briefly, one of the first bills I was proud to be on was the Patent and Trademark Office Reform Bill that will reduce the current scandalous, I think, 3-year wait time for a great new innovation to be reviewed, considered, and patented. Every patent has the potential to create hundreds, if not thousands, of jobs. And we are working hard. We've passed it through the Judiciary Committee, through the Senate. It's now before the House. And it's my hope that for the first time in a decade, we will see genuine reform to the Patent and Trademark Office. And second, my first bill was one that would take the existing research and development tax credit and double down on that. If you invent something and manufacture something in the United States, we ought to be giving you, I think, an expanded boost, because we ought to incentivize inventing it here and making it here. I'm also proposing reforms to the R&D tax credit so it's accessible and usable to smaller or startup businesses who are frankly the businesses that most need help investing in research and development. Let me not stand in the way of who I know is going to be an exciting speaker, what I know is going to be a great day. You've got a remarkable range of panels. You've got a remarkable group of people here in the room. More than anything, I simply wanted to say congratulations to the folks in the Emerging Technology Center's boot camp and the Business Plan Award winners. Congratulations to everybody in the state of Delaware who's pulled together with the kind of energy and entrepreneurship that characterizes this community to make possible what I know is the first of many very positive announcements about manufacturing in the emerging clean energy technology field. And to all of you, I hope you will come away from today with some encouragement, with some enthusiasm, with a sense of the support that you're getting from this great community. I've said on some days that my worst day in Delaware is better than my best day in Washington. And you'll forgive me today, certainly it seems true that when there's a great day in Delaware, it is a wonderful day for our country. Thank you very much.